Hi friends, my name is Katherine Pryor and I write picture books. And today I'd like to read you my most recent book, Bees, which was published by Schiffer Publishing, written by me, Katherine Pryor, and illustrated by Ellie Peterson. And before I begin, I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I decided to write Bees. So I'm the type of person who, if I hear there's a problem, I want to try to help fix it. And a few years ago, I learned that bees were in danger. There's thousands of types of bees around the world, and some make honey, but not all of them. But what bees do is they help us in very invisible ways by pollinating a lot of the foods that we eat. They go from flower to flower to flower, pollinating flowers that then become fruit. And I got worried about this because if we didn't have bees, we'd lose a lot of the foods that I love. And so I decided to grow a pollinator garden in my backyard, and I planted all sorts of flowers that bees like to nibble on. And I started seeing all kinds of bees I'd never seen before come to my backyard. And I decided that I wanted to write this book to help kids just like you understand that they can be part of helping our bees. And I don't know if you know this, but April is National Gardening Month. And so it's a time when people across the country are going out into their yards and starting to look at ordering seeds and dreaming about the ways that they can make gardens really beautiful spaces for their communities and their homes. And it's also a very special month because Earth Day is in April. And Earth Day is a holiday where we appreciate all of the things that the earth does for us, and we also start to think about the ways that we can help the earth. And so I hope you like Bees. Beatrix heard a humming as she walked through the park on her way home from school. She followed the sound to a hollow oak tree. A cloud of wild bumblebees flew in and out of a hidden beehive like it was the world's busiest airport. Bee crept closer. The bees flew zigzags and crazy eights. They hovered and dove. They zipped out fast but flew home slowly, their tiny bodies weighed down with pollen and nectar. Bee visited the hive every day. She watched the bees flit from flower to flower, buzzing with happiness as they collected food for their families. But then one day, the tree was silent. A lonely butterfly circled the oak tree looking for its friends, but its friends were gone. The next day at school, Bee told her teacher what happened. "Where did my bees go?" she asked. "I don't know," her teacher sighed. "Sometimes bees just disappear." Bee didn't like that one bit. How could a whole hive disappear? The park was quiet as she walked home. Bee looked toward the oak tree, but even the butterfly was gone. Then Bee noticed something else. The flowers around the oak tree had been cut down. Beatrix knew that bees like flowers. It's how they get all of their food. So the next time Bee's class went to the library, Bee rushed for the librarian. "What type of flowers do bees like?" "I don't know," the librarian said. "Let's find out." Bee read everything she could about bees. She learned that they like to eat pollen and nectar from lots of different flowers and that they needed lots of open space to find them. Bee also learned that bees are a type of pollinator, which means that they carry pollen from flower to flower. Without bees, blueberry, raspberry, and pumpkin plants would not be able to turn their flowers into fruit. There would be no more apples or almonds or avocados. Without bees, some of Beatrix's favorite foods would disappear. So Bee began to make a plan. In the early wet days of spring, Bee planted wildflower seeds around the base of her tree. She planted mint and clover and sunflowers. The seedlings began to sprout. The flowers began to bloom. But the tree stayed silent. Bee did her science fair project on bees. She handed out wildflower seeds to everyone at school and asked them to help feed her bees. And all over the neighborhood, their seedlings sprouted. Their flowers bloomed. Still, the tree was silent. Beatrix began to lose hope. She sat by her tree and cried sad tears at the thought of losing her bees forever. But then she heard it. A single bumblebee buzzed past, landing on one of the sunflowers. She saw another and another. Bees flew out of a nest in the ground near the hollow oak tree. They hovered and dove. They flew zigzags and crazy eights. They zipped out to find pollen and nectar, then raced home slow and fat to feed their family. Bees were back. The end. Thank you for reading Bees with me today. If you'd like to know more about this or any of my other books, please visit katherinepryor.com. Thank you so much for making our world and our community a better place to be a bee. Happy gardening.